Wherever there is danger, there lurks opportunity. Earl Nightingale. It's hard to discern the blessing in a cancer diagnosis, but it can be the opening to a greater experience of health and life.
She used to deliver babies, but now she delivers exceptional wellness for women. Welcome to her Brilliant Health Radio, where holistic women's health expert and board-certified OBGYN Dr. Kyrin Dunston shares revolutionary insight from leading experts on what you need to know today to treat the root cause of disease, heal, and create the radiant health you've been searching for. Lean in and get ready to experience the bountiful, blissful, and beautiful vitality that you deserve.
Welcome back, Brilliant Healthers. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Her Brilliant Health Revolution. I'd like to send a shout out to someone who left a beautiful review for the podcast on iTunes this week. Surf Girl 62. She says, functional health rock star, and gives it 5 stars. Kyrin is on a mission to help women feel so much better, and she is brilliant. It's imperative that women feel empowered to take charge of their health because all of our chronic health conditions are under our control to resolve, and she puts all in all caps. She'll give you the steps to feeling so much better through these incredible interviews and her amazing spot-on insights. Thank you so much, Surf Girl 62, for your wonderful review. I'm so grateful that you find the podcast empowering. If you're listening right now, you're here for a reason. And the same reason that brought you is the reason another woman needs to be here too. A woman you know. It might be your mother, your sister, your daughter, your friend, your boss, your coworker, your employee. It doesn't matter. It's a woman who's in your sphere of influence, and you need to reach out to her. Women find the help they are needing by women like you sharing this podcast with them. So far, I haven't been featured on the 5 o'clock news, so it depends on your caring enough to share the podcast and also rate and review it on iTunes. You are being of service to other women when you rate and review, because the most highly rated and reviewed podcasts are pushed out to people. No reviews, no push. Then the exact woman who desperately needs this information can't find this podcast. So if you find this podcast, this topic, this guest, this information in any way uplifting, informative, inspirational, or life-changing, please be of service to your fellow woman and share it with her. And go to iTunes and rate and review. 1 out of every 2 of us will get cancer in our lifetime, and that's the topic of this episode. So you really should be sending a link to every woman you know. Who knows? It just may save her life. The Chinese symbol for crisis is composed of 2 Chinese characters signifying danger and opportunity, respectively. When most people get a cancer diagnosis, they only see danger and have fear. But the truth is that with current technologies and integrative strategies, cancer can actually be the beginning of a healing journey and a greater experience of life. It's an opportunity to reevaluate your health foundations and do a complete renovation of the faulty structures you've laid down that led you to cancer and will lead you to other diseases. And those are your health habits. So you see, contrary to what you may believe, cancer usually doesn't come out of the blue. It comes out of the oblivious. Many people believe that they'll get cancer because it's inherited, but that's only true for about 5% of cancers. That's the out of the blue portion. And even those risks can be mitigated with proper preparation. The other 95% that come out of the oblivious are due to environmental and lifestyle factors, which means it's under your control. So if you know that 1 out of 2 of us will get cancer in our lifetime, then you can educate yourself about what causes it and make sure that you are not laying the foundation for cancer to grow in you. You can take action and prepare ahead of time. The right time to do this is now while you're thinking about it, not next week, not next summer, not next year, or when blank, blank, blank. You fill in the blank, right? You're always like, I'll take care of my health when the time is now. The only time is now. That's the only time you can improve your health. Cancer is the result of too many negative inputs in your lifestyle and not enough positive inputs and a lack of balance. Like I say, to heal, you got to get the bad stuff out, good stuff in, balance everything. We'll get into more details during the episode, but I'd like to give you an overall perspective before we get started. You're going to love my guest today, Dr. Connealy. You've heard me talk about the pyramid of success many times, and that has hormone balance at the bottom. Then toxicity is next, which is what drives inflammation in the body. Nutritional deficiencies on top of that, and mental, emotional, spiritual balance and energetics at the top of the pyramid. So your cells, they multiply and divide each and every day. Your muscles need repair, all your organs need repair, your skin, your eyes, everything in your body. In fact, in 7 years' time, almost all the cells in your body are completely new. So just think, if you start today, you could be a completely different person physically in 7 years. So when the cells are multiplying and dividing, they make errors in the DNA. Errors that could lead to cancer. But something stops these abnormal cells from becoming cancer, and that's your immune system. Yep, your immune system doesn't only protect you from infections like the colds and flu, it also protects you from getting things like cancer. So your immune system comes behind and cleans up those abnormal cells that have errors that could become cancer and gets rid of them. You have no idea this is going on, but it really is each and every second of every single day. Just like when driving your car, you have an accelerator and a brake, right, in your car. At least I have that in my car. I hope you have that in yours. So one moves you forward, the other slows you down or stops you. And you need both for the car to function optimally. You have to have an accelerator that can get you up to the speeds on the highway, and then you have to have a brake that can get you down to zero. The same is true for each and every disease that you can experience, including cancer. There's always an accelerator and there's always a brake. And to get disease, you have to have an accelerator pushing on the abnormalities that cause the disease, like DNA disruption occurring with cell replication. And the brake has to be broken. The brake that comes behind and fixes it is your immune system, but that has to be broken for you to get diseases and cancer. So the accelerators for cancer are things like environmental chemicals, things like pesticides, volatile organic compounds or VOCs, phthalates from plastic, bisphenol A that lines tin cans, artificial colors, sweeteners, preservatives in foods, off-gassing from furnishings, building materials, and on and on. And if you want more detail on this, check out one of the first few episodes I did. It was one of the first 3 where I talked with Laura Adler. She's an environmental chemical specialist, and she looks at how it interfaces with our human body and causes illness. So listen to that one. So other lifestyle factors like not getting enough sleep, not enough macronutrients, micronutrients, and we'll get more into it in the episode this and next week, increase your risk for cancer. So the faulty brake on cancer is a snoozing immune system. But what causes that? It's the stress hormone cortisol has gone awry. I call her Queen Cortisol because she runs everything. She runs your sleep-wake cycle, your weight, your energy, and most importantly, your immune system. This determines whether you get sick or not and whether you get cancer or not. This is why people often get cancer after highly stressful events like the death of a spouse. The stress on their cortisol lessens immune system function, and there's no early cancer cleanup. But it's not only psychosocial stress that aggravates your cortisol, it's also physical stress. And we'll talk more about this and where it comes from and what to do about it during next week's episode, part 2 with Dr. Connealy, that you won't want to miss. So I met Dr. Connealy when we were both speaking at the Age Management Medicine Group Conference in Las Vegas a few years ago. After learning about her center in California, I had to go visit, and she has all the latest equipment and technology. And I also especially love her wonderful holistic view of health. She really treats the whole person, and we are alike in that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we'll get started. So, welcome back, Dr. Connealy. So excited this week to talk more about cancer. This week, we're going to talk about prevention and early detection. Breast cancer is probably the cancer that most women are afraid of more than any other cancer. And so, we'll probably highlight some things that you can do to prevent breast cancer in particular. But what are your top tips for preventing cancer for women?
Well, the top tip is always address your stress in your life. We need to be living consciously. And if we're having problems, use our girlfriends, use a therapist, use your church group, something to dialogue so that you're not carrying this stress 24/7. Because women are caretakers. They're naturally taking care of their husband, the children, the extended family, and that will wear you out. So there has to be some boundaries because mommies don't understand boundaries. They're just everyone's savior. Well, that's really good, but you can't lose yourself in the process. And I always tell early moms, I go, these children came into your life. You didn't come into their life. So you're creating the existence and the environment for that child, because this is what I see every single day with women. The second thing is we have to respect and honor all the rules of our body. So that's proper sleep. And if that means going to bed at 9 p.m. and waking up at 5 or 6, that's what we have to do, because we have to honor our circadian rhythm. We all want to be up because now we have lights and computers and phones and we can look up things and watch TV and all kind of things. But what is that doing to us? Is that really good? As you guys, we all know, the news is, you can miss news for a week and pick up and it's the same stuff.
Right.
Okay. So you're not going to miss anything. Okay. And what you can put off tomorrow, but preserve yourself, your mind, body, and spirit today by honoring and respecting the rules of the body that you and I both learned. We learned this. We didn't know it ourselves. That's not how we grew up. But our circadian rhythm, which is really go to bed somewhere between 9 and 10 and sleep 8 hours. We need to drink water. Most people do not drink water. They drink sodas and coffees and teas and kombucha and all this other stuff. But the solution to pollution is dilution. So we have to drink water. I mean, there's not a golden rule, but we know we need water for cleansing, okay, and for hydration of cells. Then people need to eat foods that nourish and strengthen their body. People eat dead food basically every day, but they want to be alive and vital and lots of energy. Well, no, you can only eat live energetic foods for you to be alive, okay? And learn that. And now there's thousands and millions of avenues on the internet to learn that, okay? There's just an abundance of information. Then we've got to move. We're a society that sits in sedentary. And I tell every patient that works at a computer every hour, go move 5 minutes, go outside and look at the sunshine and do an attitude of gratitude. Be thankful that you have a job. Be thankful that you drove to work. You be thankful that you get to eat the food you want. Be in a thankful spirit all the time, because your cells are listening to your thoughts 24/7. So you might as well have good thoughts.
Yeah.
And then everyone needs to do some kind of cleansing, okay? It might be infrared sauna. It may be taking certain supplements that cleanse your liver or cleanse your body, like zeolite or, like I said, charcoal. But we have to cleanse today in order to live in today's world. And to live in our toxicity, we all need to cleanse. And there's lots of different cleansing, even something as simple as fasting. Fasting is cleansing. Your body goes in immediate cleansing and autophagy. So something like that, people say, I can't afford a sauna. I said, no, just do. You wouldn't accomplish a ton just fasting and drinking water. I mean, fasting has been around for centuries in every religion. I mean, it is a phenomenal way of taking care of the body. Then I believe that people should make sure that their blood is right. And when you talked about early detection, it's simple blood tests that any doctor can do. But I always tell people the top 3 things is check your CRP, which is the C-reactive protein. The C-reactive protein is a marker for inflammation. It means fire is in the body, okay? Any level over 1 is a serious problem. I'm not saying that a little omegas might be able to quell the inflammation, all right? But you must make sure, and any doctor can order, any patient really, Kirsten, can order that themselves, okay? Then the hemoglobin A1C, which is a reflection of your blood sugar over 90 days. Like I said earlier, sugar is paralyzing, damaging to the body.
Yeah, I say sugar is a 4-letter word. And when we come back, we're going to have a few more tips on lab work to check and test for early detection. Stay tuned for that. Did you know that you can get my personal attention on your medical concerns by scheduling a consultation with me, no matter where you live in the U.S.? Yep, that's right. You'll get the answers that you need when I focus my 20-plus years of experience, board certification, and fellowship training in functional medicine directly on your health concerns and identify the root causes of why you're not well and exactly what you need to do to get well. Whether you're suffering with overweight and fatigue, brain fog, hormonal imbalance, IBS, or autoimmune disease, hair loss, or the big three, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes, I've got answers for you. You don't have to suffer with chronic health conditions, symptoms, or continuing drug treatments that don't actually fix the underlying problem. There are reasons why you're having the health challenges that you're now facing. We will uncover those reasons together when we work one-on-one with a personalized approach, and I'll lead you through a plan to correct them and get you feeling great in your own skin again. Use the link on my website, Kyrin Dunstan MD, to schedule a 15-minute complimentary phone consultation with me to discover how great your life will be when you conquer your health concerns. Visit KyrinDunstanMD.com for more information. That's KyrinDunstanMD.com. Your brilliant health is waiting. Welcome back, everybody. More with Dr. Connealy. We are talking about a lab test that you want to have done that you can do yourself to help you to get in a state that your body is inhospitable to cancer so you don't get cancer. So we were talking about checking your CRP levels, your C-reactive protein. We're talking about checking your hemoglobin A1C. These are my favorite tests. So let's talk about any other tests that you would recommend people have that they can then tweak to get in that optimal range, not the normal range, what the lab says is normal, which everybody's heard me talk about many, many times. There's a difference. You want to get into the optimal range for what an optimally healthy person would have, and that person doesn't have cancer. So what other tests would you recommend?
Okay, the other test that's easily done is a DHEA sulfate.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the principal hormone made by the adrenal glands. So the adrenal glands, they keep us all alive every day, 24/7, okay, no matter who you are. And the DHEA is the predominant hormone made by the adrenal glands. And we know what the normal levels are according to age. And if your adrenals are your stress, immune, and longevity gland. So we want to keep those healthy. And as we talked before, stress is imminent in everyone's life. And so I see a lot of 25-year-olds who already have adrenal gland dysfunction.
Yes.
Okay, now this is anything that any one of us learned in medical school or training, but our stress is like if you're confronted with the tiger, that's stress, right? So, but if you're confronted with the tiger 24/7, your adrenal glands are going to be compromised, all right? And there's a whole science to that. But your DHEA sulfate needs to be what it's supposed to be for your age. So like, let's say if you're 30 years old, it should be 300 to 400. If it's not, then we know there's a problem. And then we can also test cortisol at the same time. So you can do saliva testing to check your diurnal, which is your daily variation of cortisol.
Mm-hmm.
And so cortisol, we know, is damaging, causes high sugar, causes catabolism, which is breakdown of tissue. So those are the three first tests that I would do. Now, we talked about breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of women, they get routine mammograms, and that's basically the standard of care. I'm sure you being an OBGYN, the standard of care is to get a mammogram, period, end of story. But now we know that mammograms come with downside. that if you get regular routine mammograms, you're higher risk for cancer than a woman who doesn't. But first of all, the mammogram, when you read the mammogram results, it always says at the bottom that mammogram has limited detection and may not uncover every cancer. And then if you have dense breasts, that means you're missing probably 50% of what you need to see because it's dense. So then I always will recommend anybody whose mammogram results says dense, I immediately order a bilateral ultrasound of the breast and axilla under the arm, okay, because that's where your lymph glands are. Then I also will order thermography, okay? They all are valuable, okay? Thermography, your breast should not be vascular, and thermography tells me if there's vascularity way before. So it's telling me the physiological activity of the breast. So I put this constellation of pictures together and come up with what the patient has, because now we have so much exposure to hormone disruptors in the environment. And it is unbelievable, the hormone disruption that we have. Rachel Carson wrote the book in the 60s, Silent Spring. Everybody should read it. She forecasted what was going to be happening, what we're dealing with now, because we need hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers that take care of you 24/7, from your brain to your little toe. So the hormones are important, but you get disruption and we create disease. So I will work up a woman. A woman should never be scared if she's proactive with these vital little things of the blood test, the imaging. Now, the other thing that I'll tell you about is RGCC.
Yeah.
So when something is a millimeter, 1 to 2 millimeters in size, it's already releasing circulating tumor cells. So that means you could, even at several millimeters, you could also already having the cancer metastasize because you have circulating tumor cells. That's different than the cancer. I tell people there's the cancer and then the circulating tumor cells. But cancer starts with one immortal, crazy, haywire cell. One. And then that grows to the millimeter, all right, which is about year 3 or 4, okay? 10 is usually when patients get diagnosed. So circulating tumor cells, why are they early detection? Because if you have circulating tumor cells, we know you have a problem, all right? It may not even be a tumor yet. Your scans may be perfect, but that circulating tumor cells, something's growing that's a size of about 2 millimeters, and it's releasing circulating tumor cells, which is responsible for 95% of metastasis. And then patients are told, oh, I had the lumpectomy. That doctor says I'm cancer-free. I want your audience to know you cannot get rid of a 10-year problem with a simple lumpectomy. Unless you change the entire environment of your entire system, you will not change the environment for cancer. The cancer will come right back. The definition in the oncology books as of 2012, I didn't write the oncology books. They're in the oncology books today, that remission or cure definition is circulating tumor cells of 0. So the doctors are not checking circulating tumor cells at all. And you have to have vast experience of utilizing tests all over the world. So when I found out that we had Cell Search, which is right here in San Diego, I go, this is great. So what did I do? I said, okay, I'm going to send 25 specimens. In 3 days, I sent 25 specimens. Every single person came back 0 and they all had cancer. So I said, I can't use that lab. It's unreliable. So I use RGCC. I have used German labs, French labs, Austrian labs, but nothing comes in the comparable report that I get with RGCC. I have nothing to do with RGCC. I utilize them in my clinic. I know they're the most accurate oncology testing that I have ever used compared to the other test. Dr. Papizzaru is a molecular geneticist, MD, PhD. What he knows, and he knows it well, he knows his stuff, okay? I've gone to lectures. I've gone to Greece to see the lab. I've talked to every scientist that works for Dr. Pipitzeru. There's nothing comparable available now today, okay? And don't let the doctor tell you that, oh, they don't mean anything. Well, of course they do, because guess what? Guess what works on circulating tumor cells is natural substances. So surgery, chemo, and radiation does not kill circulating tumor cells. Only natural substances like vitamin D, like vitamin C, like agaricus blazei, a mushroom, like DCA, like resveratrol, coenzyme Q10, etc. So it customizes the test to tell you what works on the circulating tumor cells. So then I know what to prescribe. I tell people today we are living in unbelievable times. We don't have to guess. We test and we can know. Now, the other testing that I do that I love is bioenergetic testing. Now, we did not learn anything about this in school, but I will tell you it is going to be the future of medicine, because artificial intelligence and all kinds of things are on the horizon. And this is not artificial intelligence. This is actually checking your acupuncture meridians, which were basically discovered by the Chinese. Then the Germans defined what the acupuncture points do and where they related to what organ. And then in the US, they used MRIs to define for sure that acupuncture works. So we know it works. So this is checking your acupuncture points to discern the energy blocks in your body. If you have an energy block, just like a heart attack is an energy block, right? There's no oxygen and blood flow to the heart. So an EKG is an energy test. An EEG is an energy test. So this is a whole body energy test, detecting energy blocks. And then we find what remedy works to unblock that energy and create the flow of energy. So I've been doing that for 23 years. I know it works. It's indispensable to my practice. I know it's people look at us forward thinking, but it's not new. It is old stuff that all of people need to know about, because we have to use lots of modalities, because that's what the mastering of the human body takes.
Yes, and thank you so much for giving us the details. So everybody listening, I really want you to get that you don't have to be a victim to really most of the diseases that we fall, quote unquote, victim to, including cancer. It's not something that all of a sudden you wake up one day and you get a diagnosis that if you had done the proper evaluation and tests 5, 10, 20 years before, you would have known that you were at increased risk. So a lot of people think that it's genetically determined, but really that might be 10%? 5% or less. And really it is your lifestyle. So it is what you're eating. I know you get sick of hearing me talk about that, but you've got to look at what you're eating. Are you eating a diet that's promoting inflammation and disease or decreasing inflammation or disease? There is no in between. Your stress level is either promoting a sympathetic state and promoting disease, or it's promoting healing. There is no in between. Your sleep habits are either promoting disease or preventing disease. So everything that you do in your life, how you live, how you love, how you eat, how you work, is either promoting disease, including cancer, or promoting health. And Dr. Connealy has so beautifully outlined this. She's mentioned so many modalities that can help to prevent cancer. And I want you to ask yourself, what are you going to implement today? Just pick your top 3 favorite things that she's discussed and say, okay, tonight I'm going to commit to starting to go to bed at 9 o'clock and get 8 hours. You'll be joining me. I'm in bed by 9 o'clock every night, right? Or,
yes.
Or I'm going to cut the sugar out of my diet, because sugar is it's a 4-letter word when it comes to every chronic disease, including cancer. Or I'm going to start a meditation practice. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to download that Insight Timer app that Dr. Kyrin talks about all the time. And I'm going to pick some that I like and I'm going to try them. And you really can prevent yourself from getting cancer. You don't have to. It's not an inevitability. So thank you so much, Dr. Connealy, for sharing your passion and your expertise with us. And thank you for the struggles that you've had that have led you and pushed you to get this expertise and have this burning passion to help people, because you help so many people with the work that you do. You exemplify brilliant health, and the name of the podcast is Her Brilliant Health. So I'd wonder if you could share with everyone before you go, what does Her Brilliant Health mean to you?
Well, as we discussed, but I'll summarize it because it's things I've learned and some of the things I've just recently learned. Okay. Like I said, I've been practicing for, I think it's 34 years now. So I've learned a lot. Plus, I'm a mother of 7 kids. So you learn a lot through young minds. And I would say the first and foremost thing is, like you said, I use Insight Timer too, is we must get in a peaceful state. We must, okay? We all must do everything we can. And Insight Timer, you don't have to be a Zen Buddhist to do it. You just lay there on your bed and do 10 minutes. And 10 minutes is better than 0 minutes, okay? Then I always eat foods that count, okay? A lot of people, they don't give themselves, but now we live in the time of convenience. So you can go to a juice bar. Okay, maybe you can't afford it every day, but maybe you afford it twice a week to yourself, okay? But do that. And if you don't do a juice bar, get a green powder and do a green powder, because let's face it, nobody eats the 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables you're going to do. You talked about sleep. Okay, sleep is probably more important than exercise. I mean, the magic of sleep has been absolutely scientifically proven, and a lot of people don't sleep. Okay, I would say over 50% of the population does not sleep well. So you've got to get into a practice. I personally turn off the electricity to my bedroom every night. I do not have anything electrical. I have an EMF blanket that I sleep with. It's not expensive either. And so the sleep is your restoration, rejuvenation time. So that has to be golden. And 8 hours is kind of the number, all right? Then when you get up in the morning, I'm always in an attitude of gratitude. Now, I only learned this in the last 3 or 4 years. And I say, before I get out of bed, I use a couple of minutes to say, thank you, God, for divine exponential healing in my entire body, putting it in perfect health, perfect homeostasis every single minute of today. And thank you, God, for divinely directing me every single day with every patient. So I find, and I do that when I'm driving. I do that when I have a spare moment. Basically teaching my cells how to take care of me. I always drink water. I do not use out of plastic. I always drink purified water, okay? Somehow, some way, I make sure that happens. I always want to have fun in my day, okay? We have to have laughter and fun. Life can't be just serious 24/7. We got to joke and have fun. And laughter is medicine in and of itself. Now, I always make time to exercise. I will tell you, I do not like waking up at 5:30 or 5:45 to exercise. I don't. But if I do not do it, it's not going to get done. So I always commit to 4 or 5 days, even if it's 30 minutes. Like I will go to the gym for 30 minutes, power it out. I'm tired. I really don't want to do it. I'm almost 63. When I was 40, 30, I was up and going. But at 63, it's a little bit more, only because I'm working 12, 14 hours a day. So, which is probably too much, but I do things to take care of myself, okay? Whether it's a sauna, a red light bed, an IV, vitamins once a week or every other week or something like that. I take nutrients. I do green juicing personally. I do it almost every morning, all right? I know what my nutrient supplements. I take hormones because I need hormones because I'm in menopause. Hormones make you alive, make you function, make your brain work, heart work, liver work, everything work, okay? And I know a lot of people might be listening, think, oh my God, this is overwhelming. But I tell patients from the time you start with me, it takes you 1 year for me to teach you self-healing, self-care. Self-care is self-love. And you're no good for someone else unless you take care of yourself. And I was talking to a patient last night, and she was like, Dr. Connealy, I have 2 grown kids in their 40s. They go, I need to take care of myself because they can't afford to take care of me. Like, we can't afford this system. one system for all won't do it either, because it all starts with us creating proper peace and proper care of the human mind, body, and spirit.
Yes, that is so important. And I'm so glad you ran down your regimen and you shared your age, which you look amazing. And people say that to me too. I'm 55. And, it really shows beauty comes from the inside out when you take care of yourself. And as you were mentioning, hormones. I had promised a patient when I talked to you today, a very special patient, that I would get you to talk about on the podcast. If you just, I know you have to go, but if you just share briefly, bioidentical hormones, even in women who have had a diagnosis of breast cancer that maybe was 5, 10, or more years out. What is the essential need for them?
Oh my gosh, you cannot function.
Exactly.
You cannot function. There is no way you can function. And if you go to a male doctor, he doesn't have the same equipment that a female does, but they still have the same hormones, but they don't have the same, it's not the same. But we're now realizing that hormones in breast cancer patients, but like me, I know I've already looked at everything. So usually I tell patients no hormones in the beginning, except maybe testosterone, because testosterone we know is protective against breast cancer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But it's not only protective against breast cancer, it helps you have a sense of well-being. It helps you have energy. It helps you have muscle mass. It helps your immune system. It helps your bone. So testosterone is very good, and every doctor should be checking women's testosterone in breast cancer. The other thing is I use estriol. Estriol is the forgotten estrogen, and it's the estrogen that will preserve many things and protect you against breast cancer. So you might not use estradiol, especially in the beginning. Now, most of my patients that are 3 to 5 years out, and I know I will start them on the biologically, the combination of estriol, estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone. Now, but let's not just talk about that. Hormones, we have the thyroid. Thyroid diseases are the fastest growing diseases, period. Okay. So we have to make sure our thyroid's working, and that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
So we're not going to talk about that. Then your sugar, your pancreas, I talked about sugar, but the sugar affects the functionality of our hormones. So we got to make sure that's working. Then we have the adrenals. So you got to make sure the adrenals are working with checking pregnenolone, DHEA, and cortisol level, or 24-hour urine test. I mean, all kind of things. Okay. I have it mastered. I've been doing it so long, so I kind of know what to do quickly with each patient. Took me a long time to figure that out, but I feel like I just know how to do it. And then we have the ovaries, which make the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. You may not have ovaries, but like I saw a patient yesterday with stage 4 cervical cancer that she's been fighting now for 6 years. Of course, she didn't come to me before, and now it's everywhere. And she's on a clinical trial, and she's only 37 years old with 2 young children, and they gave her hormones. But what did they do? They only gave her estrogen. Well, they forgot about the progesterone, which is like they use that now for brain concussions. Okay. Yeah. So progesterone, first of all, saved my life and saved me from the effects that I had with DES. Okay. And back in the day, they didn't have time-release progesterone pills like they do now, or progesterone creams. I had to inject myself with natural progesterone every 5 to 7 days, because that's what balanced my over-estrogenized state back. So it literally saved my life. Okay. So I know from personal experience, not just academic and reading experience. So your hormones, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, keep you alive and functioning.
Yes. And if you don't have proper hormones, I always say they're the communicators in your body, then messages aren't sent and your cells don't know what to do or how to function. And you start deteriorating, your cells start deteriorating when they don't have instruction on what to do and how to function. So thank you for giving us the quick synopsis of that. We could talk about that for hours. Each one of these topics could be several hours. I thank you so much for taking your time to share yourself with us, this information, your expertise, your passion. We will have links to Dr. Connealy's website for her practices. She has the 2 practices in the show notes. If you want to connect with her, we will also have a link to get her free Perfectly Healthy book giveaway. That's a wonderful book, and it talks about avoiding the flu naturally, something I love, and many other topics that you will want to read about that will help you get started today in changing your life and your health so you change the trajectory. You do not have to be headed for cancer or autoimmune disease or any other chronic diseases. So thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here, Dr. Dunstan.
Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it on social media and send it to someone who would benefit from it. If you love the show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. This helps other women find us so that they too can heal and enjoy brilliant health. I've got a gift for you. If you take a screenshot of your review, post it on your social media, and tag me, I'll send you a special surprise right to your inbox. Thank you so much for joining me, and remember, healing and getting optimal